Welcome back to our general newscast. I'm Emile.
And I'm Lydia Hussein-Begasi. Let's get right into today's breaking news. This morning, parts of Boston and Maine shook from minor earthquake. The U.S. Geological Survey rated the shaking as a magnitude 3.8. The earthquake's epicenter is reported to have just been off a few miles off the coast of York Harbor, Maine. Responses to the survey show the quake was felt as far as even New Haven, Connecticut. Although no damage was made, the earthquake was certainly surprising and rare for New England.
The Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles will face off in the Super Bowl again after both teams dominated their championship games.
Yeah, but we're so excited on today. You had to hear people saying, we don't know how we're going to do it, but we have to get to New Orleans. We have to get to New Orleans. Philadelphia is going to descend upon New Orleans, and we'll be there to cheer our Eagles on.
The Chiefs won against the Buffalo Bills with a score of 32-29, while the Eagles crushed the Washington Commanders 55-23. The Chiefs are aiming for their third straight title, while the Eagles are seeking redemption after losing a close game to the Chiefs in 2023. New England Patriots safety Jabril Peppers is currently on trial after being accused of attacking a woman last fall after a sexual encounter. Jabril Peppers is facing charges for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. The woman accused Peppers of assaulting her after another man repeatedly called her phone while they were in bed. She described being filmed and taunted by Peppers as she tried to leave his home in Braintree. The woman who filed the civil lawsuit is asking for an apology from Peppers and for him to seek anger management counseling. Peppers was placed on the NFL's exempt list following the incident, missing 7 games, and was later placed on injured reserve for the remainder of the season.
Now the past few days have been slightly warmer than others. For more information on this week's forecast, here's Anthony Oceano with more information.
Thanks, Lydia. While on Sunday we got a peek into those 40 temps, tomorrow we'll have a low of just 20 degrees and a high of 34. Tomorrow we'll also have gusts up to 34 miles per hour, so make sure to bring out those scarves and gloves. On Wednesday, we can expect snow to roll around throughout the day and accumulate up to 5 inches. Friday will be a warmer day as it hits a high of 42 degrees due to the humidity from the 30% chance of rain. As we head farther away from the deep winter and into the spring, the weather will slowly start to rise and enter those warmer temps. Groundhog Day will be this Sunday, so let's see if we can get an earlier spring or a longer winter. That's all I have for weather this week. Back to you at the desk.
President Donald Trump has spent his first days in office implementing new policies in an effort to reshape American society.
They're going after people who are law-abiding, who are holding down jobs, who have families here, who may have been here for a decade or 2 decades, and they're often our neighbors and our friends.
Trump has issued executive orders regarding immigration, climate, tariffs, and diversity initiatives. He has opened federal land for oil drilling, withdrew from the World Health Organization, and eliminated diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across federal agencies and organizations.
Up next, Lise Fonseca has more information on Trump's new executive orders and what Utah lawmakers are saying about the teachers' union bill.
President Donald Trump has spent his first days in office implementing new policies in an effort to reshape American society. Trump has issued executive orders regarding immigration, climate, tariffs, and diversity initiatives. He has opened federal land for oil and drilling, withdrew from the World Health Organization, and eliminated diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across federal agencies and organizations. Utah lawmakers advanced a bill this past Thursday that experts say will instill one of the harshest labor laws in the country. According to AP News, this was an effort by Republicans to hinder the political influence of union-serving teachers and other public service professionals. This law would ban collective bargain for public sector workers and limit union rights. So far, the proposed bill has received conflicting opinions and is an ongoing discussion for Utah's law officials. North Carolina's Supreme Court case remains disputed nearly 3 months after the election. The Republican candidate Jefferson Griffin continues to challenge Democratic candidate Justice Allison Riggs' narrow victory despite 2 recounts showing Riggs to be elect. Critics have argued that the ongoing challenge invalidates democracy and aims to diminish valid voters. Griffin's legal battle now in both state and federal courts could expand Republican power if approved. Back at the desk.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is preparing for his first overseas trip, visiting Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and other Central American countries. The trip will focus on strengthening immigration agreements for deportations and addressing President Trump's push to regain control of the Panama Canal. Rubio will meet with leaders amid Trump's claims that the U.S. should take back the canal, which Panama's president has rejected. The visit also aligns with Trump's immigration priorities, including a plan to target criminal gangs like MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. Rubio's appointment has generated significant interest in Latin America due to his ties to the region and stance against socialist governments. The trip is likely to take place in early February. Coming up, Trump's efforts to reverse some Biden healthcare plans are being put into action, along with a massive fire faced by Turkey.
All that and much more on WEBN.
President Trump's recent actions aim to reverse several Biden-era healthcare policies. Those include efforts to lower prescription drug costs and strengthen the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid. Trump's order targets what the White House calls, quote, deeply unpopular Biden policies, like exploring a $2 cap on generic drug costs for Medicare. However, major Biden initiatives such as $35 insulin cap and Medicare drug prices negotiations remain intact. Experts say Trump's actions show a shift in priorities, signaling less focus on addressing high healthcare costs. It is unclear how his administration will approach Medicare drug price negotiations going forward.
A fire that engulfed a ski resort hotel in northwestern Turkey on Tuesday left 76 people dead and 51 injured. Turkish police detained 15 individuals, including the owner of the hotel, for further investigation. The fire is believed to have started inside a restaurant part of the resort, which had 238 registered guests. The fire forced panicked guests to jump from windows in the middle of the night. The witnesses say some used bed sheets to get out. The Minister of Culture and Tourism, Mehmet Nuri Ersoy, said the hotel had a first fire competence certificate issued by the fire department. But this matter was challenged by local mayor Tanju Özkan, who claimed the fire department had not issued a positive report since 2007. The Union Chambers of Turkish Engineers and Architects released a statement explaining the spread of the fire suggested detection and extinguishing systems were not present. The hotel's website also shows the automatic sprinklers uninstalled. The fire is still under investigation as authorities work on gathering more information. It is still unclear what started the fire. With more on international news, we have Andrew Miller. Andrew?
Thanks, Leah. The Houthi military group has released the crew of seized Bahamian cargo vessel Galaxy Leader, which was affiliated with Abraham Rami Ungar, one of the richest people in Israel. The crew was captured shortly after the October 7th attacks and the ensuing Israeli-Hamas conflict. Hans Grunberg, the United Nations Special Envoy to Yemen, said the release was, quote, a step in the right direction, end quote. Since November 2023, the Houthi group has launched over 100 missiles attacking primarily commercial military vessels along the Red Sea, with the United States and the United Kingdom responding with air attacks against military targets. This comes after the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, championed by President Biden in his final days of office. In a landmark step forward, same-sex marriage laws have taken effect in Thailand, making it the first Southeast Asian country with laws of this kind. Furthermore, with the recognition of same-sex marriage, homosexual couples will be granted the same legal rights as heterosexual couples, which includes full financial and legal rights. This marks a major victory in the civil rights movement that was sparked in 2020 with pro-democracy protests sweeping the kingdom. While social prejudices remain in the country, supporters are adamant that with time, society will overcome their prejudices. Michel Martin has returned as the Prime Minister of Ireland. Martin was formerly president until December 2022, when he was elected through a coalition of the country's two large centre-right primaries and independents on Thursday. His prime ministership comes with the task of negotiating with recently sworn-in President Trump. His government is responsible for preparing for major changes in the United States, upending corporate tax rules and the imposition of tariffs. Morren has said that strengthening Ireland's most important relationships is one of the most paramount interests of the country, namely those of Europe, Britain, and the United States. That's all I have for you today. Back at the front desk.
USA's Madison Keys defeated two-time defending champion Aryna Sabalenka in a high-intensity Australian Open semifinal Thursday night.
At long last, it's Madison Keys' major moment.
This is Keys' first Grand Slam title after coming up short 45 times. At 29 years old, Keys becomes the second oldest first-time women's winner of the tournament. While Sabalenka had difficulty with her serve, Keys managed to land all but one of her serves. Sabalenka was unable to win her way back to her level. People say Keys has an immaculate serve and aggressive turns. Keys called her comeback a dramatic finish and will face Sabalenka in the finals.
Coming up, Purdue Pharma agrees on a financial settlement. The NFL's most valuable player has been announced, and Oscar nominations are back in action. All that and much more on WEBN. Welcome back to WEBN.
The pharmaceutical company Purdue Pharma has agreed to pay $7.4 billion in a settlement on Thursday. This was to resolve thousands of lawsuits claiming the medication OxyContin caused a widespread opioid addiction. Members of the family and the company agreed to pay settlement, having the Sackler family pay up to $6.5 billion, with Purdue paying $900 million. The deal still needs court approval. All of the funds are expected to go to victims affected. Up next, Chloe Fedham provides information on the Chicago Bears' newest offensive coordinator, as well as Michaela Schifrin's return to alpine skiing. Chloe?
Thank you so much, Lydia. The Chicago Bears have hired former Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson as their new head coach. There are still many questions lingering for Bears and Lions fans about what comes next, but the main one being how the Lions will move forward without Johnson on their coaching staff. In a recent interview, Johnson said, quote, "The runway has been built," and discussed his beliefs that the Lions will continue to succeed in the coming seasons. The Lions finished second in passing yards and fourth in touchdowns this past season under Johnson's leadership. Olympic and World Games skier Michaela Schifrin announced her return to alpine skiing after 2 months away due to an injury in November. Schifrin's return will be on January 30th at the World Cup in France. Schifrin has 9 races left this season and is 1 victory away from becoming the first ever alpine skier to reach 100 World Cup wins. She is already the most successful alpine skier in history. The Associated Press's 2024 NFL Most Valuable Player Award finalists have been announced. The MVP finalists are Saquon Barkley, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Lamar Jackson. Also announced were the finalists for Offensive and Defensive Players of the Year, Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year, Coach of the Year, Assistant Coach of the Year, and Comeback Player of the Year. The winners will be announced at the NFL Honors on February 6th. That's all I have for sports. Back to you at the desk.
After delay following the California fires, the Oscars announced their nominations for the 97th Academy Awards Thursday. The ceremony will be hosted by Conan O'Brien at the Dolby Theatre Academy. Academy leaders said the ceremony will celebrate the work that unites us as a global film community and acknowledge those who fought so bravely against the wildfires. Emile Perez, a musical examination of trans identity, is currently leading with 13 nominations. The Brutalist, an analysis of immigrant trauma, along with the theatrical movie Wicked, received 10 nominations. The 3 movies are securing many acknowledgments, including one for Best Picture. Their ceremony will air on March 2nd. Gigi Lujan shares information on A$AP Rocky's assault trial, along with Conan O'Brien's Oscar journey. Gigi?
Thank you, Lydia. 36-year-old rapper A$AP Rocky's assault trial in Los Angeles has begun this past Friday. The hip-hop star, whose real name is Raheem Myers, faces 2 felony charges for allegedly firing a gun at his childhood friend Terrell Efron, better known as A$AP Relly, back in 2021. Prosecutors say Myers pulled a semi-automatic pistol during the confrontation, firing the weapon and grazing Efron's hand. Defense attorneys said the incident was fueled by jealousy and extortion attempts. Myers could face up to 24 years in jail if convicted. Conan O'Brien's Oscar journey has taken an unexpected turn. The Oscars host shared that he is unable to return to his home after the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. He called himself, quote, ridiculously lucky, as his home was extremely close to the flames. At this time, the Academy's organizers are focused on supporting those impacted by the disaster. The 97th Academy Awards, where O'Brien will host, will be held on March 2nd. Justin Baldoni is firing back against Blake Lively's team after they requested a gag order on his lawyer. The two co-stars from It Ends With Us are at the center of a legal battle with serious allegations. Baldoni's attorney argued that Lively's team has been attacking their client through the press, calling it, quote, an intimidation tactic to silence their lawyer, Brian Friedman. Baldoni's team sends a letter to the court saying that their actions were necessary after a New York Times article misrepresented multiple messages. They claim that the fallout has been, quote, utterly calamitous, with damages totaling millions of dollars. That is all I have for entertainment. Back to you at the desk.
Kendrick Lamar will be joined by SZA as a special guest during the 59th Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans. The show, which is being creatively directed by Lamar's company, PG Lang, will also feature production by Diversified Production Services, Jay-Z's Rock Nation, and Jesse Collins. Lamar and SZA, longtime collaborators from their days at Top Dog Entertainment, recently reunited on Lamar's album GNX and SZA's SOX Deluxe, Lana. After the Super Bowl, they'll embark on their grand national tour together, starting in April. That's all for today. For more updates, head to WEBN.TV or check out our Instagram at WEBN General News.
Thanks for tuning in.